everybody, it's Emily from ARG Schooling, and today I want to talk about summer reading plans. So I am almost done with the reading portion of grade 10 for Build Your Library, and I am so excited because I have a lot of books, like a lot of books that I really want to read that I just don't know where to fit in because I've been so busy with all the other books I've had to read this year. I finally am seeing that window of opportunity to read, and I am going to snatch it. So I'm just going to show you some of what I've pulled out. Like my TBR is ridiculous. I can't actually show you everything I want to read because I will never read all those books. I have literally hundreds of books on my TBR, and I'm crazy. I can't read all of those books, but these are the ones that I am like prioritizing. So I have 3 stacks here. One is books I'm hoping to get to with my kids this summer. I'm going to start with that because these are the books that are definitely going to happen. I've already talked about Eva, but this is a book that I'm planning on reading with my teens starting next week because this is the last week of school, and like I said, their schedule is going to open up a lot in the next, well, over the next few months, obviously with summer, but also next year they're not going to be going to school quite as much, so we'll have a lot more time to get to everything that I want to cover. So excited. So we're going to be reading Eva as soon as school is out, and this is a book about a girl who is in a traumatic accident, and the doctors decide to save her life by putting her brain into the body of a chimp and the repercussions of that. And it's fascinating study in ethics and whether we should do things just because we can, and scientifically, like, what does that do to, or psychologically, what does that do to a person to wake up one day and still be thinking in the same thoughts as they did before, but be in a body that doesn't function the way that they're used to functioning, like having to relearn how to walk and talk and oh, so many things. It's just such an awesome, interesting book, and I highly recommend it. And also a book I plan to read with my teens this summer is 1984 by George Orwell. This has been on my TBR for forever. It's actually going to be the Read Like a Mom book club pick for July because this was tied with Between Shades of Grey for this month's pick, so I decided we would do this next month. And so I'm also going to be reading it in July with my teens because I feel like this is a book that I really want them to read and experience, but that I don't think they'll ever pick up on their own. So we're going to read it together as a family. I'm hoping it goes over as well as Fahrenheit 451 did, which was an awesome read-aloud experience. We did so much great discussion based off of that book, so I'm hoping this will also lead to a lot of really great discussion. And then I have 2 books that I've picked for family read-alouds that are mainly for my 8-year-old, but that I think my teens will probably come listen in. The first of which is The Good Good Pig, The Extraordinary Life of Christopher Hogwood by Sy Montgomery. I actually was recommended this by my librarian about 4 or 5 years ago because Sy Montgomery lives in New Hampshire, and this book had just come out, and she thought it sounded like something I would enjoy and that my kids would enjoy. And at the time, I remember I picked it up, I'm sure, I brought it home, but I don't think I ever actually got around to reading it. And my daughter, in case anyone doesn't know, my 8-year-old is obsessed with pigs. She wants to own anything and everything that has to do with pigs. She has this enormous pig collection. She's just obsessed. She wants real pigs. She wants to have a pet pig, and I've been saying no, we're not getting a pet pig. But I thought this book might appeal to her. It's about a family that adopts a pig that is the runt of a litter, and their experiences raising it. And it sort of reminds me a little bit of Marley and Me, but also a little bit of Charlotte's Web, and so I think it's going to be a book that we enjoy quite a lot as a family. And the other book I picked up for her was Nuts to You by Lynn Ray Perkins. I honestly don't know a lot about this book beyond it's about squirrels, and we have a lot of squirrels. We live on the edge of the forest, and we get squirrels all over the place in our yard, and it just looked cute. Honestly, that's all I know, is it's a cute book, and it's got a lot of pictures and not a lot of text per page, so it's not going to be a really deep read, but I just think it's something that she will enjoy. So those are the books that I'm planning on reading with my children this summer. Now I'm going to get into my piles here because I have a lot to show you, and we're going to kind of go through this a little bit rapidly. First up, this is a must read. I'm going to be rereading it this summer because the movie comes out in September, and I am so psyched. I am so pumped for this movie. You guys, you don't even know. I've been waiting for this my whole life. I've read it dozens of times. This is my favorite book, probably of all time. It's hard for me to rate a book that high because I have too many that I would rate as favorites, but this is definitely one of them. And I've been reading this book since I was about 13 or 14 years old. I've loved it for forever. I don't remember a time when I didn't know and love this book. And I've always hated the miniseries that they put out in the 90s. It's stupid. It does not follow the story in the book. It's not scary in the slightest, and it's just, no. So I've been waiting for years for a remake, and it's finally happening, and it looks amazing, and I'm going to be rereading it in anticipation because it's been a couple of years. And I'm also going to be reading Unholy by Neal Shusterman because I read Unwind ages ago, and my son has been reading the whole series, and he's finishing up the last book, and he's been begging me to read the rest of them so that he can talk about it. Because he knows things, and he wants to share, and he can't. So I'm going to read, I'm prioritizing, I'm at least going to get to the second book. I don't know if I'm going to read the other two as well, but I'm going to give it a go. We're going to at least get to the second book. I'm planning on picking up Blood for Blood by Ryan Groudon this month. As soon as I'm finished with the books I'm reading for grade 10, this is happening because I read the first book in the fall and I loved it. Wolf by Wolf was amazing, and I really want to read Blood for Blood, but I haven't had time, and so I'm very excited to find out how the series ends. It's just the two books, thankfully, just a duology, so I'm dying to know what happens. I need it. I need to know. And then to continue my World War II tangent, I have two books that I've been meaning to get to, and one is Briar Rose by Jane Yolen, and the other is Anya's War by Andrea Albin, and they both have to do with World War II and the experience of Jews in different parts of the world at that time. So, definitely need to get to those. I also have in my pile The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is a book that I have heard nothing but amazing things about. It's been compared to Firefly. I have to read this. I don't know a whole lot about it beyond it's about a crew who is in space and their mission is to make wormholes, I think. But everyone says it's not really about the plot, but about the characters. So, I don't know. I just need to read it. I got this for Christmas, the Joss Whedon biography. And I've been wanting to pick it up, but haven't had time. And my 17-year-old just read it and then told me, you have to read it. And I'm like, well, duh. Of course I have to read it. So, very soon I'll be picking this up because if you know me at all, you know that I love Joss Whedon. I wish I knew him in real life so we could hang out and chat because I feel like he's one of those people that you would probably have amazing discussions with. And he's brilliant, and I need to read this. I also really want to pick up Maud, a novel inspired by the life of Ella Montgomery by Melanie J. Fishbane. I love the Anne of Green Gables books, and I've just been hearing great things about this novel, and I really want to read it, and it's beautiful too. It's just super pretty. I also really want to pick up My Friend Dahmer by Derf Backderf. It's another one of those books that it's been calling to me, and I really want to pick it up and read it, and it's really morbid sounding about the teen years of Jeffrey Dahmer, and it just sounds weird and morbid, and I really want to read it. I also really want to read some more graphic novels this summer. I have a bunch in my TBR that I didn't even grab to show you because, honestly, I had pulled out enough books, and I didn't want to have to put them all back. But I have a bunch of graphic novels that I really want to get to this summer, so if I get to them, you'll know, because you'll see them in my wrap-ups and TBRs. But I just didn't feel like stripping all of my shelves. And the last book that I want to show you is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I have been hearing everyone and their grandmother talk about this book, and I obviously need to read it, but I just haven't had time. So yeah, this is in my TBR, and possibly the sequel, which is, I think, the only other book. I think it's just a duology. I don't believe there's any more in the series, but I didn't grab that one because, let's be honest, I've got a lot in my pile here, and I'll be lucky to get to just the first one. So yeah, those are all the books that I would like to read this summer. We'll see how many of them I actually pick up. And I bet you anything, you guys, I'm going to pick up like 20 different books and not get to any of these because reasons. That's how I do. To work on that, I always say I'm going to read something and then I end up putting it aside and reading something else. What are you going to do? So what do you have on your pile for summer reading? Do you have any books that you're like really anticipating picking up this summer? I would love to hear about it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.